Hi everyone. I'm super happy to be here, honored. AUI has a special place in my heart. I always speak about it. I'm very happy to have many alumni at the gym, so I get to see them more often than I thought before. So I'm Omar Rais. I'm a head coach at In Fitness. I'm mainly a strength and conditioning coach for the general population. So I get a lot of time this idea that a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you're super lucky. You've made a job out of your passion." And I'm like, I smile and say, "Yes, thank you." But deep inside, my real passion is not fitness. My real passion is it's about helping people just like you, adding life to their years. And I do that through fitness because technically that's what I know best. That's what I do best. So. And this is where I feel that I have the most added value. So my life with fitness and athletics starts very young. It started when I was 5. I was playing tennis. Around 12 years old, I had to make a decision, or my parents made a decision for me. It was either tennis or school. Fact is, I was doing better at school than I was doing at tennis. So I went for school, and I ended up with a scientific baccalaureate from a public school. And then I was supposed to do engineering, because back then there was this saying, 10 000 ingénieurs d'ici 2010. So at the time, engineering was a big thing. And I had my visa ready to go to Lyon, and I was supposed to do engineering and everything. And one day I came to my dad. I was like, just a few days before going to France, and I was like, I'm not going to France. I was like, what? I was like, I'm not gonna do engineering. There's no way. And I was like, what are you gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna do AUI. And back then I wasn't speaking one word of English. English was nowhere near, was not even in the topic. So back then it was like, what are you gonna do? I was like, I'm just gonna make it happen. So if you remember, there's the GAT test and there's the TOEFL test to get to AUI. So I did the GAT. I was happy. I got the results. No interview needed. Score was good. Super. Then I failed my TOEFL. Then a few months later, I failed my second TOEFL. Then a few months later, I failed my third TOEFL. And then I got my TOEFL on the 4th attempt. During all these months, my dad was telling me, please, Omar, do something else. It's still early to do something else. And when I got my TOEFL, I went to language center. There's a level 1 and a level 2 language center. I went to level 1. The minimum score, I still remember it like if it was yesterday. It was 420. I got 423. And honestly, I was super happy. And when I got to class, everybody around me was like, it sucks. I got to level 1, I should be level 2, and it's like regular. And I was like, I'm here. Thank you, God, I'm here. And the thing is, it was a big hassle for me. So for me, from that day, English was something very important for me. And that was my first lesson that showed something that I had in me. It was grit. And grit was something that pretty much is the headline of my life. Then I went to AUI a few years later. I'm not supposed to say it, but I was ghostwriter for so many people. So many people. And for me, it was a revenge, because I went from not speaking a single word to writing for people. And EBSCO and JSTOR were my go-to every day. So I was doing that for people, but I also was doing that for fitness, because at the time there wasn't much information about fitness, and I had to read some pretty complicated peer-reviewed articles. I was understanding pretty much 30% of it, but that was enough. And I was helping my teammates in the rugby team at the weight room, and I was trying to write programs for free, do something for people, and so on. And it was pretty much my first experience training people, regular people. So I was like, this is something I really want to do. But then I graduated, and before even the graduation ceremony, I already had a job. I was doing consulting, like everybody, Gautier stuff. So I was doing consulting. It lasted 6 months. I wanted to shot my head in, myself in the head. Like, it was horrible. I had a tennis ball on my throat, right here, every morning. So I decided to quit, and they were happy I was quitting. And I left, and I decided that I'm just going to give myself a breather and do fitness, because that's what I knew. And I found somebody who was launching a first fitness model in Morocco, and I worked for him. I was supposed to work for a year, but then I ended up working for a month, and then I ended up working for a year. Pro bono, nothing. Everybody around me was telling me, you are crazy, you're working for free, you're working 10, 12 hours a day, you're signing up people, you're training people, and for free. And for me, it was the only way I could hope to do this job, because for me, I knew I had something to do. I had something to give people. Then, after that year, I went to Dubai for almost 2 years. It was a really, really big, challenging, and emotionally, it was really the moments, one of these moments where life could either send you this way or the other way. So I stayed there. I worked in fitness. I discovered that you need an official diploma to work there in fitness. It's not just like here in Morocco. So I withdrew there's the sponsorship there in Dubai. So I withdrew my sponsorship for the university there, and I went to the school. And then I discovered that the school was not capable of giving you a sponsorship. And then I was left with 1 month to find a sponsor or leave Dubai. That was one of the most stressful periods of my life. And then when I realized that I had to do something, then the grit came back. And it came back in the form of everything. I did everything. Nightclubs, Tinder, you name it, gyms, everything. I did everything to find somebody who can help me. And I found somebody who helped me. And I'll always be grateful to that person forever and ever. And that person allowed me to pretty much have my own visa in my pocket. Okay? So I worked in fitness in so many gyms, and I worked with so many people. I got to understand how people think about fitness from different nationalities. Everybody was telling me, why Dubai? I was like, because when you go to Dubai, it's almost like you go to the world in one place. Okay, so you meet so many nationalities, so many different understandings about fitness. Then I came back and I founded the Iron Nation. AIN stands for Iron Nation. So Iron Nation, a nation that lifts weight. And I was like, what are you doing with this place? And I'm like, I'm training people. So for the first years, from 2017 up to COVID, I was trying to please the market in a way that I would be comfortable doing. And it was nowhere near what I wanted really, because it's like in business, when you sell a commodity, it's not like when you sell a service or competency. When you sell a commodity, you ask yourself, what do people want? When you educate people, it's like, what do I want to bring to people? And that was the main question that I had to answer. And COVID came, and as you know, they didn't close us for 3 months. They didn't close us for 6 months. They closed us for 18 months. And Hamza was with me at the time, and he knew all the hassle that we were going through. And that time, I had to make a decision. I'm either going to close and say, Achilat Allah, or I'm going to do something about it. So I pretty much fired 70% of my clients because they were not the right clients for me. Okay? They came in for reasons, for market reasons, not for what I had to offer. And I built it around the 30% that remained. And I wanted to say, I kept thinking about it. I remember on the rooftop of my place, I was with my dog at the time, and we were walking and everything. And I was thinking, writing, and I was like, what do you really want to do with these people? And it came to me. My main mission is to bring physical competence at the same level as intellectual competence. Here we have different backgrounds, we have different schools, we have different everything, but something that unites us all, we all know how to read, we all know how to write, we all know how to do basic math. Everybody knows that. Okay, so I'm like, what's the equivalent in fitness? Can you do a push-up? Can you hang and do a pull-up? Can you lift the equivalent of your body weight on an external load without this being something extraordinary? And when I asked this question, I realized that very few people can do that. But if I give you something to read in a language you speak, and you're not going to be able like, I can't read. But if I tell you, can you lift this weight? Can you pull yourself? You'll be like, je suis pas sportif. Like, it became so easy, okay, to say that. So I had this mission, and I'm This is my mission today, is to bring people to the point where they can be physically literate. And if I say pulling your body weights, lifting your body weight, and it's like that's an athlete, that's an athlete's job. No, imagine somebody who's completely illiterate and sees you reading a book. He doesn't know how to read and write his name. And you're reading a book right in front of him. And all of a sudden, it's like, this is extraordinary. This is not extraordinary. These are skills. And my mission today is for all of you who have kids today, to give a chance to your kids to have faith in life. In what sense? A lot of people think that at 60 or at 50, life ends. Why? Because all people around you show that. At 50 and 60, it looks like life ends from the standpoint of what you're capable of doing. We have it even in our culture. Our parents grew up, like they raise us in a house, and then all of a sudden they're old, and then all of a sudden we're going to be like, oh, the brothers and sisters are going to be like, oh, we're going to sell the house, okay? We're going to buy a small apartment, bathroom, bedroom, kitchen, everything closed. What are you doing here? You're shrinking their lives, okay? And what are we trying to do? We're trying to expand their lives. By expanding their lives, we give them competence. I remember one thing with Hamza one day when he was injured in his knee. We were at Pomme de Pain. I don't even remember if you remember this one. Bathroom is upstairs, and we were talking, and he was like, I saw him like, I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I was like, go to the bathroom. It's like, you see the stairs? He had crutches back then. I was like, oh, sorry. Oh, no, I get it now. And all of a sudden, when he went there, and I saw one of the most athletic people I've trained, and I was like, now the stairs are an issue. So like imagine the old people. Imagine the old people, what they feel. Okay? When now you cannot travel, you cannot do these things. And these things that don't happen when you grow old. They happen now. They happened yesterday. And the best time is today. It's not tomorrow. So you've got to do something about it. And the first hit I had was at AUI. Who remembers, especially the SHSS, represent again. Who remembers Duncan Reinhardt? Okay, thank you guys. So I was in the swimming pool, okay? Back then I was trying to fit in the swimming pool. We had some really good people swimming. One of them is there, okay? And at the time I was in the swimming pool, I was swimming. I was already doing, like in the middle of 2,000 meters trying to swim and everything. And he came in with his Speedo, you know, and he came in and he jumped into the water. He wasn't competing with me. I was competing with him. He didn't even know I was there, okay? And he finished before me. And here he goes, this almost 60-year-old who looked shredded, who looked super fit, super smart, super kind, okay? He was he was at the time he was 60 or 61, something like that. I remember that from his triathlon time. And he was a triathlete. And the thing is that I was like, oh, so 60 looks like this. So it's possible. If he's a human being, like I'm not talking about somebody, he's a human being. So if it's possible for him, it's also possible for us. Okay? So the thing is, we need to build this competence. So today at IN, what we do, it's simple. I tell everybody, our nation is just like a school. Okay? I'm not a fitness gym. We're having a school. And building physical competence is just like learning a new language or learning how to play guitar. If you want to learn a new language, you go to a language center. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. And if you want to play a musical instrument, you go to a conservatoire. Okay? And there are steps, and everybody comes at a certain point, and so on. And nobody starts at the same point. If I speak only Arabic, I want to learn English, it's much harder for me than if I already speak French, because it's already a Latin background. So I can already, the A devient A and so on. So everybody doesn't start from the same point. So they get in, they call us, they get in, and we do what we call a consultation. Why do we do a consultation? It's a 30-minute session, face-to-face, where I talk to people, because I need to know who you are, if you have kids, if you're married, what job you do, if you have a physical job, if not, if you have a physical background. I need to know all these things, because coaching people is not about sets and reps. Coaching people is about a relationship. If you don't have a relationship with the person, if you don't share common values, there is no way you're going to transfer knowledge. knowledge can be only transferred if you have a common ground. And that common ground, I remember one of the best classes I had at AUI. Well, I had so many, but one, it's called Critical Thinking and Written Communication with Nancy Hotel. I don't know if you guys remember this one. That lady with the hijab who looked American, okay? She was a monster for everybody. She was one of my best experiences at AUI because that class pretty much helped me in my life and is still helping me up to now. And this common ground notion says that you guys cannot exchange knowledge if you don't have common values. It's very, very complicated to do otherwise. So when we share these moments, when we talk, when we get to dig a little deeper, when we anchor the first values together, then we can move to the second part. The second part is about preparing them to join our classes. Because just like le primaire, what's the role of le primaire? Le primaire is to teach you how to read, write, and count, so that you start your education in college and lycée. Okay? So if you do that, you start on the good basis, and then you go to the year of training, what we call college and lycée. It's basically the opportunity for you to learn how to push, how to pull, how to lift, and you do that in stages and cycles of training. And everybody does it at its own pace. And that's very important, the own pace. So this entire business model is something that's important for me because in fitness, I'll always say this, we need to build a fitness model we need to build a business model, that serves the fitness model. Okay? So the business model is here to serve the fitness model. If we have the fitness model serving the business model, then we are everybody else on the market. And we don't want that. We are not renting the space. We are giving you value. Because value is what matters at the end of the day. Okay? So I try to help people to get away from being fat-phobic and become muscle-centric. It's something that's very important. We build muscle because the real fountain of youth is muscle. Okay? At the end of the day, as we say, if you don't have something to give, like, you can't give anything. So fitness, I want you to rethink about today. My real goal is to plant a seed in your heads that fitness is not about the six-pack or summer or whatever. Fitness is about competence before anything else. Most athletes, when they started very young, they didn't think about having a six-pack. They just trained. And as a result, they got the six-pack. So if you focus on the mirror, chances are you're not going to get the mirror, or you might have a snapshot of it, and then it's going to fade away. Okay, so please think about the role of fitness. Thank you very much. You can always follow us. If you follow us, you're going to have a snapshot at what we do at AIM. It's very important for me if you can do so. Thank you very much.